Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lori Smith on Blog Talk Radio. And I'm glad to be here. I'm so happy to be able to share this time with you. And it is Monday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Calgary, Alberta time. And I'm glad to have you with me. And we will be talking about, this is child abuse prevention, and human rights abuse prevention is up to us. And that's you and me. And this is the topic for tonight. We're going to talk about child abuse, the effects of family violence on children, and also just taking a look at an article that I found it's a really great article by J. Douglas Bremner, MD, about post-traumatic stress disorder. And so I thought we'd just continue on with this because we didn't quite get to wrap that up the other day. And my show yesterday the sound quality wasn't so good, so hopefully tonight's show will be a little bit better. And, I missed this morning's show. I'm so sorry if anybody tuned in to hear that. I actually slept in, and I've been feeling a little bit under the weather, a little bit tired. And I slept in. I set 2 alarms and slept through both, so I'm very sorry. And I promise I'll be on tomorrow morning. I'll set 3 alarms just to make sure. So I thought we'd just continue on talking about, from an article I pulled off the web, www.familyviolence.alberta.ca. It's a great article regarding child abuse. I found it quite, inclusive. There's just a lot of good information there, and you're welcome to go on that website. I'd suggest it and see if you can find something, that interests you. And there's some great information regarding, the impact of child abuse, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And lots of phone numbers and just information that you might need. And so I'll continue on with that. I myself am a child abuse survivor, and so this is sort of my way of healing is by searching out these articles and getting this information, and because I get to learn it myself and I get to sort of see what helps me out, I pass this information on to you, so I hope it's helpful for you. I'm not a qualified counselor, and I don't have any certificates or legal, I can't offer anyone any legal aid or anything like that, but what I am is just one child abuse survivor who cares very much about people, and I know that there are so many people like myself who out there right now who are suffering with this, the effects of growing up in an abusive home, and really just don't know where to turn. And there is some great information out there. And I volunteer, which is just so awesome. I got the opportunity to volunteer for Dreamcatchers For Abused Children.org. They are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and they are doing some awesome work. So if you get a chance, I would highly recommend that you go on their website. It's Dreamcatchers For Abused Children, and you will find they have resources galore, phone numbers, information regarding what avenues that you can take, and just so much great information there. So that's another place you can look for resource information. So I'm just going to read from this child abuse little document here from familyviolence.alberta.ca, and we'll just start with impact. It says, all across Canada, I'm quoting right from the page, all across Canada, adults are harming children. Children are abused or neglected. They live in angry and violent homes or environments where there is substance abuse. It happens in cities and towns, in rural and isolated communities, in settlements, and on reserves. And here's what they listed off. It says, the children may become fearful and anxious. They may believe the whole world is a dangerous place. This is the impact that this causes, right? That abuse can cause. The child may become aggressive, lashing out and bullying others. They may become passive and very obedient, thinking they cannot change any part of their lives, and they may lose energy and hope and disconnect from the real world. They may have trouble learning because so much of their brain is busy dealing with the stress of an abusive environment, and they may be at greater risk of growing up to be abusive to others, to be abused, or both. And this is very good information here. And it's also very true. Even like in my case, I can just speak for myself. That I had a hard time learning just because in school, especially in elementary school and junior high, where it really counted to get that beginning fundamental education, and because I was just so, full of anxiety and sort of stressed out from not getting very good sleep and growing up in an abusive environment, I really had a hard time focusing at school, and so therefore students kind of stayed away from me and just thought I was a little strange, and because I'd be maybe really sleepy and falling asleep at school and stuff, and teachers just kind of thought maybe I was a little unmotivated. So that can happen, and that's something to be aware of. And if you know of a child who's being abused, I would hope that you would make the right decision and intervene. Make the phone call. It's really important. This is not something that you can just slough off and say, oh well, maybe I'm imagining things, or maybe this kid just looks like he's being abused. Maybe he just fell down or had an accident, or he just looks sleepy, like maybe he's just not feeling well. If you have any suspicion whatsoever, make sure that you do make the proper phone calls. Call 911. It doesn't matter. Phone someone. Do not let it go by, because you can save a child's life. And there's lots of ways you can, lots of great information out there regarding of what to look for if you suspect a child is being abused. But you don't even have to know. I mean, it's great to know these things, but if you don't know and you just suspect it, make the phone call. So, they may be at greater risk of growing up to be abusive to others, or to be abused, or both. And that's a fact. They've done lots of studies. I don't have that information looked up here for tonight, because we're going to keep going. But, people who were abused tend to carry, to keep the cycle perpetuating. I know my mom did. She grew up in an abusive home. And as far as my grandmother went, she might have grown up in an abusive home. I'm not real sure. But I know that in my mom's case that was the case. And even I think a little bit in my dad's case, there was something going on there. So they both didn't have the skills or the coping skills to raise a large family. And that's the story for our family as far as perpetuating the cycle goes. It's really, if you don't get help, it's so easy to do, just to keep. It's what you learned, it's what you know, and if you don't make the necessary changes and get the help that you need, you could pass that on to your own family and to your own children. And so it is very important to get that help. And I'm telling you, there's some great information on the web. All you have to do is start looking around, and I'll be passing on some information to you, like phone numbers and websites and stuff as well. So I just thought we'd look at that, the impact of abuse on children. They might become aggressive, lashing out and bullying others. I know that when I was young, I was quite pushy with other little kids, and I have a bit of a runny nose. Sorry about that. I hope I'm not catching a cold. And I remember when I was growing up, people like little kids. I didn't like little kids, and they would come and try to give me a hug or whatever, and I'd just push them away. But that's because my mom was always pushing me away, and I learned that at a very early age. And so I didn't want somebody to come up to me and try to be loving towards me, because that's the way I grew up. And so, you basically kind of do what you learn, learned behaviors, and lashing out, bullying others. I used to, if a kid was bothering me, I didn't have any problem with chasing them down and beating them up and things like that, because my mom was so good at that, and I learned that from my mom. So, as children growing up in an abusive home, you learn all kinds of really bad behaviors, and I had to really work on this, especially in my 20s. I had to really learn, how to behave as a young adult, and how to really get my life worked around. And it took a lot of effort to sort of take a look at myself from the outside and turn around and look at the mirrored image and see what I really needed to work on, and as far as like building friendships and not maybe cleaning up my language. I had a very foul mouth. I learned that from my mother as well. And so she was just herself, an abused child, and was in a marriage that she was not happy in, and took that stress out on us. And the impact of it really had its impact. So that can happen growing up in an abusive home. And we do need to just reach out. If you're someone who's suffering right now, and you feel like you just can't go on, make sure that you get the help that you need. Dial 911. If you think you're going to hurt yourself or that you just can't go on, dial 911. Remember that there is help, and if you reach out, you will find help. And I'm finding that right now just by reaching out around me. I don't have a lot of support from family members and friends and stuff. A lot of my friends are long gone. So I hope that I'm back now. I did get kicked off of my own show, and that's just unfortunate. So sorry about that. It says show is on but not streaming. That's very strange. I hope you can hear me. I'm going to keep on talking just in case, right? So if we have to redo a show, that's okay. So here's exposure to violence affects child development. Being in a home where violence happens can cause serious anxiety for children. The earlier they experience anxiety, the more likely it will last and affect their future behavior. This is the article that I'm reading from www.familyviolence.alberta.ca. Infants, toddlers, and preschool children exposed to domestic violence may show the following effects. Fear, anxiety and fear may limit an infant or toddler's ability to play and explore. Loud noises or images of violence may distress babies and young children. So, let me see. Oh, I think that I'm still not on the air. Well, Dreamcatchers is sitting on my chat room, and maybe if you can hear me now, maybe you can drop me a little note. They've said that they've lost me, and that they can't hear me anymore. But I did dial back in. It's unfortunate here. Oh, it shows that I'm back on. It's very, very strange. I don't know how this happens, but this has happened to a couple of my shows that I've gone back to listen to, and I'm not sure why that happens, but we'll just keep going, just in case I'm on the air, because it's just real hard to tell. If somebody would like to phone into my chat room, and not into my chat room, but actually into my switchboard here, you're more than welcome to phone in with any questions or comments. My area code here for my guest call-in number, 917-889-3736. And I'll be on for about another 15 minutes. My switchboard actually shows me that I'm in and that everything is okay. So I'm not real sure what happened there, but it just kicked me off, just threw me off my own show. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is such an important topic that, I'm just going to keep going as long as I can, and I'm just going to keep talking as long as I can, because child abuse just has to stop. And there's so many great groups out there who are advocating for child abuse prevention and child abuse awareness, and I just want to raise my voice with theirs and be a voice and say, stop child abuse, stop human rights abuses, because there has to be a way in a community sense where more awareness is brought out, and more prevention, more talk. People, it's just always it's because it's such a painful subject to talk about. People don't want to talk about it because it brings back bad memories, and it's very stressful, and some people are still healing and dealing with it, and even though, I'm quite healed now, I'm still dealing with certain things, and I know that it is hard to talk about, but it must be talked about. It must be brought out front and center if we're ever going to see any change in child rights and human rights across the globe, not just in North America, but actually, all around the world. And so, I'm just one person. I'm just one person, just going to keep on going. And so I'm just sending a little chat message right now to Dreamcatchers because I think they've gone ahead and sent me a thing saying that my audio is lost. Okay, so I'll have to go back on. That is really bizarre. Well, I hope you can hear me now. I've dialed in twice now, and it's been a few minutes. I'm just so happy that you're all still sticking around, and anyone who's still listening, I just thank you so much. This is such an important topic for me, and I know, we just can't do enough and say enough about the issue of child abuse, and that it needs to stop, and that we all need to raise our voices and continue to raise our voices and stand with groups out there like, for instance, Dreamcatchers For Abused Children. These two ladies, two moms on a mission. I suggest you check their website out. And we need to stand with them and all of the other groups out there who every day give their lives to promote child abuse awareness and child abuse prevention, for people like myself and for people who are still suffering, and the poor kids out there right now who are going through this horrible, horrific child abuse. And I just want to be one more voice out there saying, it must stop, and that there has to be a way. There just has to be a way to make it happen. And I think the more people talking about it, the better. And the more people raising their voices, it's just bound to happen, right? Positive change, positive motion. And I'm just sending another little chat here to Dreamcatchers For Abused Children, because they're actually sitting in my chat room, and I'm just asking if they can hear me now. So yeah, I'm so glad to have you here with me and joining me. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm just going to keep, as long as I can keep going on the show, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep raising my voice and keep talking, and just keep passing the word, stop child abuse. And so, yeah, aggression, here's another effect, another effect from exposure to violence and how it affects child development. Aggression. Children may learn and copy aggression based on what they see at home. And preschoolers may express anger and other emotions in unhealthy ways, and by damaging things or hurting other children. And that's kind of, that was me. I didn't like people, if they played with my toys, I would actually lash out and hit them. And, I think it's just because what you learn at home, that's what you're going to do. Withdrawal. Babies and young children may have no energy or become passive, and they may not respond to others and no longer be curious about the sights and sounds around them. And preschoolers may go back to behaviors that are more typical of young toddlers. Weakened family bonds. When parents cannot respond to a child's needs on a regular basis, it weakens the parent-child bond. And preschoolers may become more dependent on caregivers outside the home when their home life is unstable. Children and youth have additional reactions, it says. This is a great article. It still says nothing. It still says my show is still not streaming. That is very, very strange. I don't know why. I guess what I'll do is I'll my switchboard says everything's great, that I've got about 10 minutes left. And so I don't know why it's happening. But if anybody's out there and you would like to phone my guest call-in number, please do. And that number is area code 917-889-3736. And you're just more than welcome to give me a call. And if you have a topic you'd like to discuss, or if you have any kind of, if you'd like to tell your story or share your story, I'm on there almost every day, except for Saturdays. I'm on Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 5:45, just for a 15-minute quick chat, one child abuse survivor to another. And also I'm on Monday nights, like we are tonight, 10 o'clock. I'm also on Wednesday nights at 9:30, and Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock a.m. So, yeah, I'd love to have you come on my show, and I've got a few guests coming up, but I'll tell you who's got a great Blog Talk Radio show coming up. That is Dreamcatchers For Abused Children. They're going to be on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm going to be tuning into their show. I can't wait. It's just going to be awesome. And so, yeah, I'm just looking forward to this very much. They're going to have some great information, and I'm happy to be able to stand with them, and I hope to be able to do some good work for them up here in Canada. I just started, so I haven't gotten anything quite going yet, but it's going to happen, and I'm just waiting. I'll just sort of orchestrate with them and see what they need done up here and what we can do in the future, especially for the new year. And so, yeah, it's just child abuse just has so many effects on different kinds of effects on people, just depending on the situation and what and the circumstances. And but there is support and there is help, and I'm telling you right now, you just have to reach out and do not give up. This is for all my friends out there who are listening, who you know who you are, and part of chat groups and everything. You just hang in there and remember, I am living proof. I can do it. You can do it. We can walk it out together, and we can learn, and we can heal, and we can find the resources out there, because we do deserve it. You do matter. I matter, and I had to learn that myself. And you do matter, and you do count, and we do count. And I just want you to know that, because so many times, you know, when you grow up in an abusive home, you think that you just don't matter and you're worthless, and that is not true. And we do count. And I'm telling you, you just keep reaching out to those around you, and you know, it's doable. It's so doable. And make sure you send me a message if you'd like to chat. I'm a good listener, and tonight I'm having problems with my switchboard, so I'm not sure if I'm even streaming or not. But my thing says I am, so I'm just going to go with it. So yeah, I'm just here for you. That's all I would like for you to know. And so I'm just sending them a chat. They said they still can't hear me, so that's very strange. But yeah, I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and I know how hard it is. And two of my brothers are gone now, and one of my brothers committed suicide, and the other one died of a drug overdose. And they were both just so lost, you know, their whole entire lives. And it's very sad when that happens in someone's family, when they just feel like they can't go on and there's nowhere else to turn. And I mean, I could have gone that way too, and I was kind of trying to self-destruct there for quite a few years before I hit the age of 21. I'm quite a bit older than that now. I don't really want to give away my age, but you know, let's double that plus add a few years. And it's taken me a long time. I don't want to say that it would take somebody that long, but I didn't really reach out, and I didn't really start to develop any kind of love or healing aspects to my heart until a couple of years ago, when I realized that I just really needed to be able to love myself. And in order to do that, I kind of had to push out the hate and the negativity out of my heart, and I had to bring in some positive traits and positive qualities that really were not instilled in me when I was young. And I had to remember that all my friends loved me so much, and that I should love myself. And I'm just happy to be here, because I could have been statistics just like my brothers, and I'm happy to be here to share this with you. So if you can't hear me tonight, we're going to do the same show tomorrow morning at 5:30. I'll be up. I'm going to set 3 alarms, like I said before, and just to make sure I don't want to miss my show. So, oh, good. Okay, Dreamcatchers For Abused Children said that I am back, and this is wonderful. I'm so happy that they're here tonight to let me know. And I had to dial back into my show twice. I got booted out twice. But I tell you, I'm not going to stop talking. So we are here together. We're here for the long haul. I'm here as long as I can do this. But I'll tell you, I just finished announcing, and I'll let Dreamcatchers For Abused Children know that I've actually kind of given a little bit of a hint that they are going to have their own Blog Talk Radio show as well. And I'm going to be tuning in. I'll be a regular listener on the show, because I know they're going to have some great information for us all. And I can't tell you how wonderful the work that they do is, and how important it is for you to visit their website and get the information that you need, get the help that you need. They have phone numbers there. They have resources, free downloads, child abuse handbook downloads. You don't want to miss it. It's just not something you want to miss. And so I'm just very happy to be able to share that information with you tonight. And if anybody has any topics or anything that they'd like to discuss, make sure that you do phone in. I'll be back in tomorrow morning, 5:30, 15-minute chat, one child abuse survivor to another, and that's just me and you. And if you want to tell your story or you just want to call and say hi and chat and have a coffee, please do join me, and I'll just be continuing on this talk, and we'll just keep going. I've got about 3 minutes left, and my guest call-in number for tomorrow morning is that's area code 917-889-3736. And I just hope that that you will reach out and you will get the help that you need. And there's so many people out there who want to help and who want to make a difference in people's lives, like my life and your life and anyone out there who's hurting right now. There's people out there who have gone through this and gone through worse, and they have survived, and we really owe it to them to continue to stand with them and to reach out to them as well and say, look, I know you made it, you survived, we're going to support you, I'm standing with you. And so, the more of us standing together and just raising our voices, the more information gets spread around, and people start realizing this is a huge epidemic, child abuse, and it's a huge problem. It's not going away, but you know what? There's things that are happening that it's just getting better because people are starting to realize that it's not a stigma to talk about it. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay that we're not all perfect and that we're not, that we all didn't grow up in this great home. Things happen, and I count, you count, and we do matter, and that's a huge issue for me. And I just want you to know that I had to work on myself and really convince myself that I was worth something and I really did matter, and that it mattered that I was on the planet and that I'm here, that I belong here, and it's okay that I'm here, because I tried to sort of self-destruct for so many years. And I'm just telling you that you are worth it and you do matter, and so therefore you just get the help that you need. Make sure that you reach out, and if you have to, like I said, dial 911. Well, I've got about a minute left, and there's great important information on Dreamcatchers For Abused Children.com, and they are also on YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter. Just check their website out, and you can get some great information there. And I just have so many things to talk about. We'll have to keep going into them this week. I hope you'll join me. There's Heal My PTSD, and that's www.healmyptsd, That's a great website. There is www.realgracenetwork.org. This is for mostly for women who are suffering from abuse, and there's just so many. We could just keep going and going. If you need anything, let me know, and otherwise I hope that you are well, and I hope that you will join me. And what I really would like is if you one day phone into my show and tell me how you actually made it and how you decided that you were just going to give it 100% and reach out and get well and get the help that you need, and that you're going to phone in with your story and everything is great. That's what I'd like to hear, positive stories, and just keep raising your voices. And until then, we'll just keep walking it out and keep learning and keep growing. And I'll see you tomorrow at 5:30 for one child abuse survivor to another. And I just wish you all the best, and I just know that we can do it. We can walk it out together. Have yourselves a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.